Yep.
You had mentioned about drums and stuff earlier, so I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about drums. Like, where do you like to get your drums that you usually use for your beats, and like, uh, what's your main things that you think about as far as making them knock?
Yeah. So the first part, I would say, I mainly, man, I have kits that I had from like 2006 that I still use to this day. Because the only reason is because I know how to use the sounds now. Like when I got them back in the day, like I was only using them on the C key, like the middle key. Like I wasn't pitching them up and down. I wasn't trying them, trying to EQ them different. Like now I know that, I can take a kick and go down 2 semitones. So those sounds that I thought were trash in 2006 were really are a lot of the sounds that we get in the kits today.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sounds are recycled. Like there was this company on eBay. So this is before Drum Broker. This is before all of this. Like back in the day, I want to say this was 2000. When did Ja Rule? Ja Rule was popping like what, 2004? Okay.
Yeah, like the early 2000s. Yeah.
So 04, 05, there was this company on eBay called Deadly Drums. And I was on eBay searching drum kits, and they was the ones. They had like this demo. And the sound, I was like, ooh, that's crazy. Like some West Coast, like crazy stuff. And I'm like, man, this is amazing. This is what people are making with these drums. But this was at the time where I thought, if I get these drums, I can make beats like that.
Right.
So I got those sounds. and ultimately I can. If I was better, if I knew what I was doing, I would have been able to, emulate their beats. But so I got those sounds, and I'm like, man, but I don't know how to make those beats. Like it's not coming out how I want it to come out. So I kind of just pushed those sounds to the side, but I kept them. I held on to them. I never threw them away or nothing like that. So 10 years down the line, here I am still using those same kits. But now, like I said, I'm pitching them up and down. I'm EQing them differently, stuff like that.
Yeah. Tell me about pitching them up and down. Like, so like you tune your drums, like what's the, what would you say is the importance of tuning your drums and stuff on your beats?
Hey, funny thing is I never tune my drums. It's funny. So like a lot of producers, they'll tell you like, yeah, put it on the make sure it's on the middle C or whatever, on the middle key. I just go to the key that sounds good. Like I'm
okay.
This one. This one right here, it sounds good. So like I can get a kick drum out of a random kit, and it may not be in tune. And then, like I said, I may go to the keyboard and be like, okay, man, that's hitting much better on this key right here. And it still may not be the right key, but it just sounds good right there. So I just know what sounds good and what doesn't. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to, how you can hear a singer and you like, man, that's out of key.
Yeah.
Some people can do that. But for me, it's not about the key. It's just really about, does that sound good? Like, is it okay right there? So I just when I talk about like pitching them up and down, like I'll take a kick and it'll sound good, right wherever it's at. But then when you kind of pitch it down, it kind of has like certain little things, like it'll be a little bit more rounder. It'll hit a little harder just because you just went down in the key a couple semitones. So I don't really worry about tuning it
right there. Because I always say like, I had never really, that's something that I probably need to start doing with, with my drums and stuff. Like, I know people have talked about tuning drums and stuff, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to do it, but like, I might just try to just experiment and like you said, and see what, what pitch sounds the best with it,
Yeah. Because when you think about it too, man, like, now how like we can put it in FL Studio, we can put it in Edison, we can detect pitch region, it'll tell us what key it is, stuff like that. But when you think about it, Kanye, Pharrell, Timbaland, they didn't have that on the ASR 10. They didn't have it on the MPC.
Right.
So if they found a kick in a kit, they went with that kick, and they may have pitched it up and down, or they didn't, but they used it right where it was at. And we love the songs. So it's like this stuff, that's just technical stuff that you can do. But for me, I'm more so about, does it sound good? You know what I mean? I'm not really worried about the technical aspect of it, of like, pitch it, make sure it's an A. If it's an A, put it on A, and then where does it sound good?
Like, where does it sound good? Also, another thing, like, so you use kits, like I think a lot of producers use kits now. as
Mm-hmm.
far as where they get their drums and stuff. I do too.
Yep.
Do you also like chop up break beats and stuff
Mm-hmm.
to get your drums sometimes?
Yep. Yep. Even if I'm like, if I grab some kits off a drum broker or something like that, a producer may have made like some loops or something, drum loops, and then I'll just chop that up, take the snare out of it. I might like that snare. It may go with this kick that I'm using or something like that. But yeah, I even create my own drum loops too, but I definitely like taking sounds from actual drum loops. And I tell that to producers too, like, yo, you ain't got no sound kits? Go find some drum loops and chop them
Yeah,
bad boys
yeah.
up, because if you got 20 if you got 20 different drum loops in a pack, now you got 20 different kicks. Now you have a
Yep,
brand new
yep.
drum kit.
Most definitely.
Yep.
And what about EQ in drums? Like what's some like basic or like main things that people can keep in mind with EQ?
Man, EQ is kind of hard because it's like, it's
'Cause
every kick or every snare, every hi-hat, it's all gonna be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, for me, with the kicks, I would say I do a lot of cutting out the high end. I think of sounds as shapes. So like when you mess with the EQ and you may cut a certain way, it may be that it sounds like a triangle. Or if you EQ and you cut a certain way, it may sound like a circle. It may sound boxy, like a square. So like I look at sounds as shapes, and it just depends on what shape I'm going for when it comes to that type of beat. So if I want my kick to be more round, all right, I know I'm probably gonna have to cut more of the high end out. If I want my kick to be a bit more of a triangle, I keep the high end in, but I may have to cut some just slightly out the lows. So just stuff like that. I really, on my kicks and stuff, I use like a EQ and a transient master from Native Instruments, but there's so many transient designers out there that you could use. That's just the one that I just know that I've been using for years.